Hello, people. Hello.
Hello.
We're back. We're back. In a congress of sorrows. Exciting stuff. With getting subplots and wiping them out as soon as they rear their heads here.
Hey, look,
that's what we're doing.
In the trilogy, there's going to be Santos' the third triplet.
Yeah, that's what I said. I put in the private chat. They're like the Carmines from Gears of War, like in each installment. I also mentioned to John in the break that the third part will be called Saving Private Santos. We'll see.
Just get a radio signal. He's still alive. He's down there.
Alive. Cool. Is anyone else getting some weird background noise?
A faint hum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting that as well.
Was it from me?
Yes.
Yep.
Seems likely.
Boo hiss. There's not
Yes.
very much I can do.
Fair enough.
Yes, indeed.
I think it's stopped now anyway.
Yeah, just some mute discipline, folks. Okay. So, in keeping with those time skips I'm so fond of, folks, we're going to cut to about, I'm going to say, about 36 hours later. Okay? John, can you pop up a image called Wall, please?
Hoping this isn't a firing squad.
So this is the safe zone established in the middle of Bering. Those kind of large walls you can see are maintained by SOF and other kind of security forces who have set up a barrier against the cultists that are swarming unexpectedly over the colony, as well as the rumored occasional attacks from some kind of maybe indigenous beast that has seemed to have taken advantage of the chaos. It doesn't seem like anyone is particularly in charge, although there are elements of the leadership still moving around. You have all been kind of brought within the safe zone. No one knows who you are. No one kind of cares who you are at this particular point in time. And every now and then you can hear the deep thudding of automated sentry turrets on the side of the walls going off as either, mostly at cultists making a play. This seems to be the main concern for the people inside the wall. There were like peremptory interviews carried out with you when you were brought in just to make sure, you weren't cultists. But they were just it was basically like, are you a cultist? No. Okay. Then you can come in, there's no real way of telling. But either way, that's, all you have, basically. There are some rough living quarters that have been set up, like big open industrial plants that have been set up for people to sleep in. And that's where we're going to pick up as you're rising for probably your second day. Within the safe zone, you've all been assigned kind of bunks near each other. And before we get going, it seems like Justin has a question.
Has there been any talk of evacuations of, the city/planet? Or
You-
ships out of here?
You haven't heard any confirmed things, but there's a lot of rumors swirling. But like, as far as the leadership here seems to be concerned, like it's a cultist uprising. Why would you evacuate that? You're behind these walls. You've got big guns. You'll just bring as many civilians in as you can, and eventually they're going to run out of food out there. So,
Sure.
yeah. Is there anything that anyone will have tried to achieve or get done within this time?
I will have. I'm assuming just because I'm here doesn't mean my data transmitter has started working.
Nope, because the
I'm going
transmission
to-
towers are all still down.
Are all down. Does that mean the SOF have no way of contacting off-planet?
That is absolutely 100% correct.
Then I can't think of anything I would have tried to get done.
And honestly, getting anyone to listen to you, if you've tried to get anyone to listen to you about anything, is just... It's not going to happen. You're mainly just seeing groups of SOF wandering around, largely leaderless. That you think there's some direction being provided to them at certain points, but it's rudderless because there's no radio. So, yeah. Boya.
I
Sorry.
was just going to ask if I don't know how free our movement is, but I think at this point we're probably aware that there's seemingly no plan to evacuate or any way to do so. So I think I'd probably try to have a look around for any means that there might be, like some kind of, I don't know, hangar or some ships we could potentially steal down the line, or just something, some straw to clutch onto, you know.
Sure, absolutely, and we'll do some rolls after this to try and like pick up on that kind of thing. John, you're about to say something, then we'll go to Justin, and then we'll look at the other two.
I was going to say I might try if I could find someone. You said there's no clear leader, but I might try arguing that as a representative and valuable asset of the Seegson company, then by not evacuating me, they are effectively holding corporate assets away from the company.
Sure, absolutely. You can try and find someone who might listen to that. Yeah, absolutely. Steve, is there anything in particular you're doing?
Now then, I think I might try to get Boria and Huang 12, like if I can meet with them quietly, and I will explain that the scientist that joined us has connections. She's known about these creatures for some considerable time, and she is being financed to study them. She must have some way of this out of this place.
Did she say financed by whom?
No, I stopped asking. She was getting sensitive.
Did she give the impression that it was a single financer or a corporate financer?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm all ears if you can find out something that helps get us out of here. But I'm hesitant to put all my eggs in the one basket of someone who doesn't seem to want to talk to us.
Just something we should keep an eye on her. I thought you might want to know her background.
That's a good call.
Might need some leverage, but it's a possibility.
Picturing this conversation having, it's private by dint of being in a very loud room with a lot of people, like a big room used as an impromptu canteen or something like that. Jeanne, what about you? I'm sure you have plans.
I mean, I have a few plans. So it sort of depends on the journalist. He was recording a whole bunch of stuff, right?
He was,
including things that incriminate me, I think, or at least claims that I am some sort of criminal. So I'd quite like to, if possible, find and smash his material, like his thing, and if I can't do that, threaten him.
Sure.
Reasonable.
Yeah,
Reasonable.
I think that's fine.
That's a good response.
We'll deal with that in a second. So it sounds like we have a number of roles to make. So I think Huang, if you want to try and find someone who might listen to you about the possibility of extraction, I think you've got to make a command roll.
Okay. I was hoping for a manipulation roll. I can go for command.
And
One success.
Don't forget you can spend story points after a roll to actually boost.
Which is also Steve's subtle way of reminding me that we haven't accounted for story points yet. Yes, let's actually quickly before that go through personal agendas from the last act. Huang, what was yours?
Navigate to the distress beacon.
Okay, that's a story point for you. Steve?
It's finding out how much Eliona knew about xenomorphs.
I'd say you got some progress on that. Take a story point. Jean.
Find out who imprisoned me and kill them. I mean, find out who imprisoned me.
That's a no, definitely. No progress made on that. Boya. Still keep Huang 12 safe?
Huang's still in one piece.
Take
My
that story
agenda's
point.
somewhat, aligned with hers.
Absolutely. How about Fang?
Get to safety, and I think I did that.
Yeah, I think you did it too.
Much
Behind these
safer.
walls is certainly relatively safe. Oh, you can everyone can ratchet their stress down to 0, by the way. Yep, there we go. Cool. So Huang, did you want to spend a story point to guarantee that roll?
Yeah, I've got a spare, so that was 2
Sure.
successes.
You do find some minor Sikhs and executives. They seem mostly like they don't know what's going on either, but they do defer to your kind of imposition that you are a company asset that needs to get off world, and they say that they will add you for what it's worth to the primary evacuation list. At the moment, there seems to be no way of securing evacuation, but for what it's worth, you have been added to that list. So maybe if some is secured, you will be kind of given first access.
And
Cool.
Boya.
And Boya, yeah, sure. Boya is also a Seegson employee, so yes.
Good.
So there we go.
Just in space.
Oh, and also Fang.
Yeah, you can get me off planet.
Fang is not a Seegson employee. He cannot be added to the Seegson employee evacuation list.
No, but he's sort of unofficially
No.
arrested. He can.
No.
Okay.
What?
Yeah,
about-
You can try and claim him
Yeah.
as an asset, but
No.
that's fine.
Can I have a roll as well to see if I could locate some kind of
Yeah,
hangar or
locate
just
some kind of thing that might look
scout
like
around
it's.
some
Yeah,
kind
absolutely.
of
Go for it.
transport? Okay, I guess that's just going to be observation
Mm.
or survival.
Yeah, observation will do. Yeah.
That's good. That's better than survival. Survival is not very good. That is 1 success.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems kind of important. I might boost it with a story point because you can add success as well as.
You can. I will tell you it won't make a difference in this circumstance. So, like,
All right. Thanks.
you find a sectioned off area where there are a number of jump ships that can make near orbit. You also walk past some pilots having a conversation about how they're currently useless because comms with satellites is down. So they'd just be flying by eye, and flying by eye to like larger ships in space is borderline impossible. So they're there, and you could get out of bearing in them certainly, but where do you go in Gehenna?
Yeah.
Like that has enough fuel to get to, like with these relatively small drop ships. So
If
yeah.
we could get some kind of transmitter that was beefier than Huang 12's,
Yeah,
and
maybe
just
you could-
sit in orbit with supplies to keep us alive. That
Yeah.
might be.
and you could like
Wait for pickup.
you could try and make contact with satellite, like whatever's in orbit. There's a space station in orbit, the Mercy. Definitely could go there.
Yeah, there's nothing bad happens on the Mercy.
Just for people's knowledge, this is actually the 3rd installment of the Gehenna kind of alien series, but the first one unfortunately was unrecorded and unstreamed and happened as part of just an offline fun roleplay thing we did
Almost as if it
a
was
good
for
2 or
fun.
3 years ago now. So to sum up, you don't want to go to the Mercy. Yeah.
Badly named, basically.
Was there any other roles that people wanted to make? Sorry.
I wanted to
That's right.
find
That's
this
right.
journalist and have a little chat.
Why don't you? So you're trying to chat to them first to get them to.
Yeah, I think I might sort of go for the angle of what an interesting recording device as I back this person slowly into a corner.
Sure.
Do you mind if I have a look?
Well, do you want to make a manipulation roll?
Is it maybe like, yeah, sure, I can.
I mean, you're trying to manipulate rather than command, I reckon.
Sure. I mean, both are the same for me.
Yeah. So.
3 dice.
Manipulament.
I rolled 1 success.
That was
So-
nearly a very loud sneezing disaster.
but it was not.
But it was not. You rolled 1 success though. That's
Yeah.
fine. So you managed to find Collier when he's relatively on his own. He has been kind of sticking near your group. The group is dispersing at least a little bit now though. and yeah, maybe in one of these kind of bunk rooms, you've kind of intimidated him up against like a bulkhead, and he's going, come on, Jean, there's nothing about you on there. There isn't. It's just shots of us going around doing stuff.
Sure.
What?
I'm sure-
Look, if I show you the recording and you okay it, can I keep the camp, please? It's my livelihood.
Of course.
Okay. He kind of hooks it up to a screen that's in the little bunk room and reels kind of through it. I'm actually struggling to think of anything that would have been explicitly stated that would get you into trouble.
I think there was Yeva saying killer. But
But did
that's not...
Yeah, sure. But was he recording when she said that? If you see what
exactly.
I mean, like,
I don't know if he was recording in the subway. In which...
But what did you do in the subway?
I think I was accused of having killed...
No one said it explicitly.
Okay.
Should we say,
I don't think.
that it's not there? It's on the footage. It's just.
Shall we say I'll roll a die for him, and if he rolls a 1, there's something on there.
Yeah.
And then Jean will kill him.
Yes. I implied that you let them die.
It is a 3. There is nothing on there.
So I will kill you.
There is nothing on there incriminating to you. He shows you all the footage, and it takes a good couple of hours.
Okay. I'm sitting behind him the whole time, breathing down his neck, and then just being like at the end of it, I think I just sort of put my hand on his shoulder very heavily, and I say, "Okay, you can keep it, but remember, I know your face." And then I'll just walk out of the room.
You hear him kind of like as you walk out. Justin?
Can I petition for Jan to take a point of stress for reliving the trauma of the last 2 days, including watching someone die?
No, I think Jan's fine with that.
Oh God!
Also, enough time would pass after the stress that it wouldn't be valid to the next scene anyway. So, but a good point, and most other people would, yes, not Jan. Yeah, you know what? We've made some little connections there, I feel. Huang 12, you are invited to a basically an attempt at a leadership meeting in some kind of like central room, quite deep within the area of the walls, where there are kind of a lot of people you've heard that a lot of people are going to be talking there. There is a proposal for like solutions and things like that. And basically it's like the leadership kind of coalescing after the chaos of the last couple of days. And you are invited there. There's no compunction not to bring people along, but it's up to you who you want to bring along. I'm guessing Jean ain't coming. But who do you think you might invite to that, if anyone? I mean, Boya's going with you, I assume.
I'm taking Boya, and in case the subject of the station comes up, I might invite Dima with me as well.
Sure. Just Dima?
Dima and Yeva.
Yeva was also a commander at the station.
Then I'll invite Yeva.
And there was a third one, but she's gone now.
She's dead. Probably.
No emotion on Justin's face. Okay, no, that's cool. All right then. Then you know what we're going to just for the scene. Let's bring these two fellows off, and then so you enter. The three of you enter a kind of large chamber with sort of like it's got the first thing that occurs to you is that it's got like a central sort of map table above which there is a holographic display which seems to be flickering in and out. And there's a bunch of people around. There's some SOF officers, there's some Seegson corporate officers, and there's some local Bering leadership. And it seems to be kind of general chaos, but there's sort of a core of people talking around the table, and they seem to be looking quite happy and enthusiastic.
Okay. I will join the group at the table and try and get caught up with Assumedly, some kind of resolution.
I'm perfectly happy for there to be a Seegson corporate agent kind of near you that you could kind of talk to in some sense. Maybe a young woman who, if you approach her, she might be able to fill you in what's going on. She's kind of observing but not contributing. She's a bit too low, lower down the pay scale.
Yeah. I'll approach her and ask, what is everyone so happy about?
She looks around at you and her eyes kind of flick to your name badge and the pips listed next to it. And she says, "Oh, Mum, transmitters are coming back online.
Excellent.
They sent
Does that
out some
mean
work
we're-
teams and they seem to be, well, it's working."
I will quickly check my transmitter.
Your transmitter is like like when your signal is going in and out on your phone. It's essentially that.
Yeah.
It's not enough for you to like actually use it at this point because anything you start on won't you won't be able to complete it before it goes. But it is coming. It is kind of starting to pick up.
Excellent. Has anyone managed to get a message through?
I think so. It might have been a little garbled, but something's been transmitted. I had no idea if it'll get off world or not. But the transmitter should be back up fully in a few minutes, I think.
Excellent. We'll wait for that. Thank you very much.
I want to sort of just kind of lean in and sort of, subtly just sort of ask Wang, how far out are those teams going to be working?
Do I know that?
I think it's something we should know. It's more what I'm sort of going for.
Ah,
But she'll probably tell you.
where have these work teams been sent out to?
Through Bering, wherever they can set up zones of control that drive the cultists back.
Is there anyone? I'm assuming they're starting close and then moving out, yes?
I assume so. Pretty soon that map should come online and we should be able to see where the transmitter towers are functioning.
Look
They
back
just
for you.
they need to set up a triangle, I think, to confine an area, something like that.
I'm just going to sort of basically whisper so that no one else can hear. And sort of like, I don't know how long those teams are going to last, knowing what we know.
Let's hope they last long enough.
A couple of minutes later, the sort of the map table kind of fires to life with a blue glow that kind of passes over everyone else in the room. It's like it's not a large room, especially it's not small. It's maybe the size of like a small lecture theatre sort of thing, and it has those kind of rows of observation decks with people looking down, and everything is cast in this bluish glow now. There's kind of a muted cheer as it comes back online, and several of the transmitter towers around this kind of like 3D map of Bering start like flicking into place with small sort of red transmission icons over them, kind of like pulsing gently to show they're active, and everyone kind of is looking around. A lot of the SOF especially are kind of leaning into each other and pointing and kind of saying, talking about sending troops down these roads and down that roads to regain control of the city. Can all three of you please make me an observation roll? And I would like 3 successes for it to count. You can add a success with a story point if you get 2.
I have rolled 2 successes. I will use a story point.
3 successes.
Okay. Huang and Dima, you spot at approximately the same time that there is a proximity warning flashing in the corner of the holographic map. No one else seems to be paying attention to this. They're just focused on the transmitter towers.
I'll point to it and say, "Where's that? What's that alert?"
a SOF officer who's kind of got that, I think we saw in the image before, that like kind of bulky helmet with the star on it, kind of on the table in front of him, kind of looks over at you and kind of starts reaching out for it, and then looks back and says, "Who are you?"
Dima Lebedev. I was working at Chirikov station.
All right. He thumbs the control, and the map basically like zooms up and out to give a much larger view of the environs of Bering. The environs includes, scanner. The scanner includes motion and mass. One entire side of the holographic display, of which Bering is like just the central part, is awash with motion detection. What the fuck is that?
Is this a live satellite feed?
Yes.
That is a horde of hostile fauna.
30 miles an hour. What?
Ping out every distress signal you have. Request emergency evacuation for as many people in the city as possible.
What kind of fauna? Surely the turrets can hold them off. Why are they... Why now?
Unsure.
There's a kind of general silence around the room as everyone looks shocked, until you see like a junior officer of the SOF near the back just kind of snap out of it and turn around and start screaming at someone outside to kind of try and focus on bringing the targeting satellites online, so that kind of the larger artillery at the center of the colony can start firing essentially into the mass. The room just breaks out in absolute chaos, and people are kind of yelling orders at each other, and kind of you sense that maybe the SOF officer who first spoke is kind of maybe the highest ranking, and he's just kind of shaking his head dumbly and looking down at the holographic display. Things are getting done, but there's definitely no kind of central point of command here. So I'm going to swap the cams for a second, and I don't know if that will sort of add to matters, but we'll see. So hi folks. And I do hate this little 3 thing, so we're going to go like that.
Beautiful.
Ooh, that's better. So what do we think Jean and Fang might be doing? And do we think is there any element, I know probably not from Jean, but is there any element from Fang of like, do you think you'd like check in with any of the people you arrived with or anything like that? Or is that not something you'd be particularly interested in?
But the people I arrived with, as in...
Like the group as a whole, like the NPCs, and sort of seeing anything that's going on there.
I think that... yes. I think that would definitely happen. I think that would definitely happen.
Okay. I'm assuming Jean wouldn't be interested in such a thing.
No, not really, no.
Okay. So you are kind of moving around the confines of within the safe zone, Fang, and you're sort of... There's a few places you could check in with. Collier, he just seems to be going around. He seems to be generally sticking to your group as he's recording kind of like human interest pieces among the people taking shelter inside the walls. There's also Guang, who seems to have gone and kind of started to deal, kind of talking with the other pilots and like, trying to modify the drop ships to get a further range on them and stuff like that. And then there's the 2 medics who are definitely in kind of the med bay, with the injured guy Apostol as well. Is that everyone? I think that's everyone. Oh, Cam is probably off with other SOF soldiers. Is there any of those you'd be particularly interested in checking in with?
I'm not certain. Maybe the medics. I mean, have I had a chance for anyone to actually heal up from my injuries that I took?
No, not really. So maybe you could go along and get a bit of attention from that. That sounds good, actually. Yeah, sure. You find yourself like the medical area is like The general medical area is a bit oversubscribed, so they've got like a side area for like people who are wounded quite badly, where you know that Yeva and Gala have taken, Apostol at some point in the past, and they're likely to be there essentially. And you're walking along, a corridor towards this place. It's quite nicely quiet out here, a bit away from the crowds. And as you're moving towards the kind of chamber that's been set, the large chamber that's been set aside for these things, I'd like you to make an observation roll, please.
Three successes, because that's just apparently what I do with observation rolls.
Absolutely. It occurs to you as you're walking down, you can't hear the medical equipment running.
Is it because it's over the loud noise, or is it just not running?
It's just not running.
Cool. That's concerning. I might ask about that.
Okay. Well, you walk into this room and it becomes immediately obvious why it's not, because the room has been turned over thoroughly. There are, like, all the medical equipment has been kind of smashed, switched off. Along the side of one wall, you can just see a kind of spray of bright arterial blood across the side to one bed, and you can see kind of a pair of legs kind of sticking out from the end of that bed. You cannot see anyone else.
Cool. I'm probably gonna. I'm concerned. I might try and cautiously and sneakily back out of this situation that is truly terrifying.
Okay.
I'm not going in there.
There's no one else in there.
I'm not going into the room.
Okay.
I'm gonna call for help because there's clearly Fang is a very strong
Okay. Well, this is a good point to get Jeanne involved, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's say that Jeanne is like randomly walking past.
And Fang is backing out of this.
Yeah, you see Fang like nervously. I don't know why you'd be going. Maybe you're not going there. Maybe you're just walking nearby. What do you think?
I think I'm I am in vain trying to look for someone on the security team to talk to about things, but I can't. I haven't been able to find anyone.
Sure.
And when I see Fang over there looking kind of nervous,
freaked out, yeah,
and I walk up to him.
Yeah, you can take a bit of stress for seeing the scene, yeah.
Well, if Jeanne's around, I might call for help.
Sure, yeah.
As long as there's someone else who might be a nice, big, fleshy target for anyone
absolutely.
who decides to come and...
Sure, yeah.
I guess I peel open the medical door to the medical area, or if there is one. Or,
you see the scene I described. There's blood on the walls. The things are destroyed.
And they're like, does it look like the bodies have been torn apart by, say, an alien, or do the?
I mean, you can't see because no one's gone up and looked at the body.
I will.
If Jeanne's there, I'll go with it.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
just not doing it on my own.
You kind of look over the side of this bed that's tipped to one side, and you see the body of Galar on the floor. She has had a whole 3 or 4 bits of medical equipment just implanted into her chest, hard scalpels, bone saws, things like that, daubed on her face in some kind of orange paint is the word Moloch.
Those fucking cultists.
So they're inside.
Jan, I don't think this is going particularly well.
I agree. What say you? We go find a way out of this place.
I think this place is one big honeypot, and being here, it's like being next to a siren, glare, or a dinner bell.
Yeah, they do like eating us. Okay, let's find a way out of here. I think anyone who remains in this place is doomed, so I am unlikely to get what I seek. And I guess I'll exit this building and sort of see if I can see any other signs of disturbance or chaos. Maybe any indication that like there is a cultist going around, or there are several cultists going around.
Sure.
Smashing things up.
As you go to exit, but Fang, are you moving alongside Jan in this?
I would say to Jan, I think we should raise the alarm. If there's more confusion, it could be helpful.
Okay, I see your point.
And so I think in that case, I'll just start shouting for help. Trying to get attention. Appear like some kind of terrified individual.
Sure. Sure. Can you? I don't think you need to give me a roll. I think as you kind of like start to shout for help, you hear kind of a weak voice shouting from another corridor.
Let's go and investigate.
Okay.
I don't say that out loud. That's my give the eyebrows.
Yeah.
The I take it you're going to investigate together.
Yeah.
Yeah. You move around a corner into another corridor. There on the floor, kind of holding a great rent in her guts, desperately closed, is Yeva, who's like pushed up against one wall and kind of not moving, because if she does, she's probably in very severe trouble. She kind of like looks over at you, kind of sees Jian, and just kind of shakes her head slightly and says, "Fang,
Yeah.
okay, are you just saying that from down? Like, I take it you're approaching her and doing.
No, yeah,
you need
no.
to
Sorry, I
tell
thought
me
I
if you're
was
doing
closer.
stuff.
Yeah, no, I definitely am approaching. I
Okay.
definitely am coming up. Yeah. Sorry, I thought I was closer.
Where is he?
Where's who?
Fucking Apostol.
I don't know. The whole tent was just. The whole tent. There was just.
I think at this point I walk up and I go, Apostol was a cultist?
Whatever he is, he's clearly up and about now.
Shouldn't have brought the dead weight. And I sort of walk off, I think. Go and start
nothing but consistent.
looking for signs of Apostol.
Sure.
Is there anything I can do for you, Ava? I know some basic medical aid. Can I try? And
Yeah.
stabilize
You
her?
can make a medical aid roll. Sure.
Cool. I'm not quite fully heartless yet. Would this be count as being betrayed by a party member or something for stress mechanic point of view?
Yeah, actually, you know what? I think so. I mean, didn't contribute that much, but yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I had one success.
Okay. Yeah, you managed to basically. She has her med kit with her, and you managed to staple the rent in her torso closed, and she just about manages to stagger up and says, I'll be fine. Go after Jean. I don't know what he's planning to do, but it can't be good.
Yeva, I can't. I've got better chances with him than I do with anyone else.
No. Not Jean planning. Apostol.
Right.
The walls are the only thing holding them back.
We'll find him. We'll get Apostol.
She kind of nods and wanders over to a chair and just kind of sits there with her head tipped back, kind of going in and out of consciousness.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I'm going to head off to Jam. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm continuing out in the direction that presumably, well, I don't know. I'm searching actually for any signs of Apostol, or I think
Absolutely.
I think if I get to like a place where it's ambiguous, I'll probably wait until Fang catches me up.
Sure.
Which I do.
Do you both want to give observation rolls, maybe?
Sure. So did I get any stress for the fact that I was betrayed by Apostol?
It's so weird for Jean, isn't it? But yeah, I think it's part of the rules. So yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it's unnerving for someone around you to be revealed to be something
Yeah.
they're not, like an android or
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't think he was a traitor. I just thought he was a waste of effort.
Yeah.
If anything, he's exceeded your expectations.
Yes, absolutely.
I got 0 successes.
One success.
Okay. Yeah, so Fang, you see kind of, you manage to basically find a small trail of blood leading off, and it is indeed leading off towards what are essentially the ramparts of these walls, I suppose, where even now as you move forward, you register that like the occasional thudding of those massive sentry turrets that like are mounted alongside them seems to be increasing in rate, and also you hear some odd kind of thumping and whining noises coming from deeper inside the walls, which I don't think either of you are liable to recognize as artillery starting to fire. But for what it is, something seems to be happening and things seem to be escalating. So, yes. Let's cut back to the other group, shall we? Hi.
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 Everything's going really well.
Yeah, absolutely. What are you guys doing? You're not sure you can really sway anyone else in this room.
The SFO guy who seemed to be, or SOF guy who seemed to be the most senior, who was sort of staring in bewilderment at the map. I think I'd like to try to persuade him, if he's not already persuaded, to focus the artillery fire on the oncoming like wave.
Oh, you definitely think
slow it down.
that is already being done. Yeah,
Okay,
from the
good.
targeting information you can hear being yelled out.
Good.
And as you watch, like kind of signals are flaring to life on the interior of the walls of like the artillery coming online and like being routed into the system. And there are like projected, arcs of fire and stuff. And as you watch, one of them kind of like flashes orange, and like the building around you just kind of like shakes a little bit as the kind of vast howitzers start whirring to life.
Awesome. Cool.
Anyone else going to do anything in particular?
Nearly spoke on mute. Going 12, I think we need to find Alyona. I think now more than ever, if she's going to have some way off this place or strings that she can pull, now is the time. Failing that, do you think we should find a way of telling people what's happening here?
I don't know whether widespread panic would help the situation.
I'm thinking more messages off this place. The number of those creatures out there, well.
Let's go talk to the scientist. Maybe
Okay.
she'll have some handy way of holding them back.
Sure. So you head off in order to try and find Alyona through the mass of people. Obviously, the sudden increase in rate of the automated turrets, the artillery. This is all starting to make people concerned, and there's a lot of people milling around, shouting, like forming off into groups. You can see a vast group of people, kind of like almost swarming the dropship enclave. And kind of pilots and SOF trying to hold them off as they attempt to as they start to panic and try and kind of rush the fences to get to those drop ships, which are really in no state to really be of much use anyway. And you know what? I think you absolutely can find her, because she's in the same place she has been for the last 36 hours, which is just sat on a bunk near where you were tapping away on a data pad.
Ilyona, may we disturb you?
You're not disturbing me.
The situation appears to have progressed. If you intended on having a way off this planet, then perhaps now might be the time to use it.
Swarm?
Yes. Alternatively, if you knew of a way to dissuade the swarm, now might be the time to tell us.
Dissuade.
I thought that unlikely.
Matters are in hand.
What does that mean?
Fail-safes. Where's Fang?
Unsure, he wasn't with us.
They'll want him recovered too. We should find him.
Your sponsor?
I say... Do you mean our employers or your employers?
We should find him. Quickly.
Right.
She shoves all of her gear quickly in a bag, slings it, and stands up.
Right, well, let's not stand on ceremony then.
Let's go.
Okay, let's swap folk around. You know what? Let's just bring everyone now because it's not long
Cool.
before everyone's going to reunite. So let's just bring on everyone there. Fang and Jeanne, let's not mess around. Let's you you can successfully track Apostol's passage because you keep finding bodies, SOF personnel, kind of Seegson operatives, and just civilians on your way along this patch of the walls. Most of the people have started kind of moving in towards the interior of the Bering safe zone now. And there's only kind of people out here who need to be out here. You round a corner on the walls. On one side, you can see the sheer metallic drop down to the kind of city of Bering, and away, already visible now, you can see kind of gunfire spontaneously breaking out in many of the areas near the walls. It seems to be one-way gunfire, where kind of civilian weapons are firing desperately against something. Every now and then you have a glimpse of a reddish brownish shape flickering through the streets, and on the kind of horizon of where you can see, there seems to be an odd dark mass further along the walls. Apostol is visible in like the far distance, about I say far, about 200 meters ahead of you. He is hunched over some kind of control console, next to which is the body of an SOF soldier who's sprawled on the ground, not moving.
I will sprint up to that
I think
place.
I am going to caution Jeanne, and I want to take the approach of, given that I know a bit about Murloc and the cultists don't really have a signifier to identify themselves, I'm going to try and fake myself as a cultist.
Sure.
To try and get closer.
I would say if you
Oh,
do
sorry,
want to
yeah,
do
yeah,
that, if you do want to do that, you probably want to call him Moloch, not Murloc.
Sorry, my apologies. My apologies. Moloch. I'm like, I love Moloch.
They're two very different things. One's a horrific
Murlocs,
sacrificial bull god, and the other's a little frog.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And Fang would know this, but Justin less good on the old
Yeah.
Monarch history.
Fang's definitely played Warcraft, so
Sure. Either way, I think I might try and like greet him with like a loud like brother, like let me help you.
sure,
I'm also
absolutely.
Part of
Let's
this
do
thing.
this.
Loving it.
Absolutely. Steve's just made me laugh with something in chat. It's fine. We'll explain it later. Yeah. Could you give me a manipulation roll, please?
I think I can give that a go. Jesus Christ. I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 2 stress die, and I'm probably going to push this if it doesn't work. So 1, 2 successes, and I'm happy to push that if it doesn't work or use story points.
No, the 2 successes can work for what you're doing at the moment. Absolutely. You're kind of walking forwards, and yeah, as you say, you're kind of going. You say something like, "Brother, let us do this together," or something along those lines.
I just want to get close enough to really get a clear shot to just shoot him squarely in the fucking chest.
Sure. Yeah. You sort of are walking forwards and sort of doing this. I'm going to say that, and I don't know how they found you, but like Huang, Dima, and Boya, where you've emerged, you decided to start searching, and maybe you saw Xian over in the near distance at the
He's
edge of the
very
walls,
big.
kind of like, I assume Xian's like hanging back a bit. Let Fang do whatever he wants to do.
I'm sort of slowly skulking through the shadows, trying to get closer, but
Right,
like,
sure.
not interrupt what he's doing.
Let's absolutely go with that. So as you're kind of like moving forwards, so Fang's already made this manipulation roll. Zhan, why don't you give me a mobility roll? And it's going to take, I'm going to say, like a little bit of time for Huang, Dima, and Boya to get closer to the situation to be able to do anything about it. Okay, yeah, you are sneaking up, and you are kind of pretty close to where Apostol is now. As I say, he's like pretty tall, pretty bulky with an odd babyish face, and he's just kind of like, he's clearly stopped what he's doing on this on this console, and is just turned around and kind of blinking. He does not look with it at all. He looks drained. He looks as rough as he's done up to this point. Like, he doesn't look like he's like healed or like anything like that. And he kind of peers over at Fang walking towards him and says, "Brother, we are here. We are in the valley of the Hinnom. It is time to make offerings. Are you with me?"
I am. But I was sent here because I know more about these machines than you. Let me take it from here. I will carry the weight. I will make the offering.
We don't need to know the machines. There is only one engine that matters.
I'm kind of edging closer.
Destruction.
Yes. I'm just gonna I think now is a good time. That line's good enough. I think you can't beat that.
Sure, absolutely.
Gonna plug him.
I would like one thing, right? We're going to roll for initiative here on you and him and Xian, okay? So this is random. So let's just do this randomly. Steve, let's have an initiative for Fang, Xian, and Apostol. And I like that someone wrote in the private chat, I just got the name. Apostol means apostle.
You could bask in your own GMness later. I want to shoot this guy right there.
I'm going to do it both. His name is spelled like this, by the way.
I'm assuming that whatever happens, this is going to be a ranged combat sort of role.
I don't know. Is it?
You could dive with him off the wall.
Depends on what you're doing, doesn't it?
Depends.
That is true. That is true.
Mr.
Is
Stabby
true.
over here.
Either way, you're going first by the look of it, and I'd say you're in. Yeah, I think you're in close enough proximity to like go for him, if that's what you want.
Okay, I think I would run at him with a knife.
Sure.
So, yeah, I'll try and run at him with a knife.
Absolutely. Why don't you make me a close combat roll, please?
So I'm rolling 8 dice from that, and then
if you get any bonus for your knife, I don't know.
I don't get any bonus for my knife, but I do get 1 stress die. And I rolled 1 success.
Okay, well that's enough. What's the damage on the?
The knife is 2 damage.
The knife is 2 damage. Okay, you kind of dash in. Tell me what you're doing. Tell me exactly like your method of this.
So he's currently like right next to this control.
He's
panel,
right next to the console. He's not reaching for it. He's not like tapping. He's turned fully and is facing Fang.
Okay,
And he's kind of fumbling at his hip.
Okay, I think I'm going to try to grab his arm and then like drag it towards me and like cut his arm in some way, like to disable him, like, or just try and injure him.
Okay.
Injure his arm, I think, whatever's fumbling.
Okay, sure. You can dash forward and you can kind of plunge. Let's say you plunge your knife into like his upper arm and just like pin it against his chest so he can't like try and get whatever he's going for. And you just, I can imagine Jean's the kind of guy who like holds someone while he's like, you've got him bear hugged and you're like stabbing into his side. You definitely haven't killed him, but you know, your knife has plunged into, maybe you might even have punctured a lung and he's kind of against you. It has to be said, he doesn't look unhappy. Fang, what are you doing?
Is he? If he's not dead, I'm gonna just shoot him.
You're
I
gonna
don't
shoot
care.
him. Yeah.
And I don't really mind if I hit Jian.
Sure, absolutely. Why don't you give me a ranged combat roll, and don't forget to factor in your bonus for your gun, please.
Okay, that is this many die. Oh, well, look, that's this many dice, and then 2 stress die. Oh, that's a lot of ones.
You can push.
I'm gonna push.
Have
But
you
I
also
wait,
got-
no, I know I
don't
rolled a
forget
one.
if you've got story points as well.
Yeah, I rolled a 1 to panic die.
Yeah,
So you can't push.
I mean, depending on what you roll for panic, that might not. Oh, you can't push. Yeah,
I can't push, but I have to roll a panic roll. Yeah, I'll spend a story point on this. I would kind of admit I'm fine. I would be fine letting Apostle kill Jian, but you know, why not?
Yeah,
But I thought we
absolutely.
were friends.
Then he might kill me. So
Friends
Absolutely.
are just people Jian kills later.
I
Yeah.
haven't killed anyone yet directly.
Yeah, absolutely. 1 second, I'm just checking something. Oh my god, why is this so difficult? Well, let's deal with your damage anyway. Yeah. So, how many successes was that in total? Sorry,
1 from my story point.
1 from your story point. Yeah. And what's the damage on your pistol?
It is 1.
It is 1. Okay, that is absolutely fine. Then what we're going to do is this. I need to look up the rules for something. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sorry, folks.
Cool. I'm keeping it together, by the way, just so you know. My panic roll.
You're keeping it together. That's
Yeah,
that's good. Sorry, folks. This is quite important, so I do have to kind of keep it.
that's okay. We can stall for you.
Matt
Like,
making these noises is just giving me
I'm there.
tunnel flashbacks.
It's the gun going between Jian and Apostle. Between Jian.
No, it's
But
nothing to do with your shot.
I'm sure I'm
Oh,
just
no.
Trying to find the rules for something. I think I have them, and I'm sorry if it turns out later that it's not this.
I should have used.
But I think I'm just going to have to run with what I've got so we don't hold up the stuff. Okay. Yeah, Fang, you shoot. I tell you, you're just going for a headshot. Just going to try and take the guy out. And
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
probably very little that I can easily hit.
yeah,
because-
absolutely. So you take your shot. You shoot, and it. Let's say because it was a 1 rather than a whatever. You don't like shoot him dead between the eyes or anything, but you shoot him through the throat. And Jan, you feel him like sag over to one side and give a last wheezing, gurgling exclamation of "He comes," and then you hear a click and a beep coming from his chest as the dead man switch trips.
Yeah, glorious.
Okay, I'm going to
think I
roll
hear
damage
that.
against you two now.
Cool.
I'll say up front, it's not looking good.
That is okay.
So, we start with Jian.
Okay. Let's just start with me because I
Have
like
you
to go
got
first.
Have you got any armor, Pierre?
I mean, I've got
Wearing
an
your
ape
ape suit?
suit.
I mean, I'm happy for you to be wearing it. If you
Sure.
if you want, I can imagine Jian walking around in his ape suit with like the top of it like just dropped down, you know, like walking along this big.
Which has a 3 and a +3 to survival.
A 3 and a +3 to survival. Okay, I don't know why I'm rolling actually because you don't roll for damage in this. Roll 3 for your armor.
Cool. And I assume I don't roll stress.
Correct.
I got no successes. I assume I don't push it.
No,
Sure.
I don't think you can push an armor roll.
I don't think so.
Doesn't
I
really
don't
make
think
that
so.
much sense because it's not like I can become more stressed to like have better
Yes.
armor on.
I'll just
Yeah.
try that again. Try the explosion again. It's fine.
Sure.
Try the explosion
Um,
again.
Now, this is where I'm going to kind of break the rules a little bit, folks, I think, because we've got to kind of roll for immediately. Oh, any further damage. Okay, yeah, that's what we're doing, essentially. Yeah, so you took... How many health do you have?
I have 5 health.
Okay.
5 health.
Luxury.
Stocky individual.
Sure.
It'd be a shame if something happened
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
You could technically survive this, but I'm just going to make some multiple rolls here.
Okay. That's fair.
Or do you want to make them? It's up to you.
I don't care.
Okay.
Whoever makes the rolls, I'm dead either way.
Whoever
Well,
makes the rolls, we lose.
Look,
Okay.
If I'm just saying, if Jan survives and Fang dies, I'm gonna. vote for him.
yeah. No, that would be legit. That would be legit. Okay, we're moving on to Fang. Do you have any armor?
No.
Okay, so here's the thing. There aren't precise rules for this, but I feel like you should be affected less than Jan because you're not flush with the guy, right?
What about, lose 1 for distance, 1 for the fact that Jan has literally jumped on the grenade for me.
It's like an absorber.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. In which case, it's only 8 damage.
That's fine. I can take 1.
Yeah, sure. So, in other words, what I'm going to do is roll 7 times for you on the critical injury table.
Nice.
And if it doesn't cause something I think is fatal either immediately or in the near future, you got a chance. You got a chance. Okay?
I'm sure. I got loads of chance.
7 times. Fuck me sideways.
We find out how many bits that Fang was.
Oof. I love how I was like, we should definitely get Fang. Recover Fang. Fang's important.
Okay.
How bad is it, Doctor?
How bad is it? You can remove the initiative now. Thank you, Steve. Boya, Huang, and Dima, you kind of it's not like rounding a corner, but you kind of are running presumably towards where you saw Jian go, and as you turn around, you see like the 3 of them like framed, like a tableau for just a moment. Apostol slumps to one side, and the entire area erupts into a huge fiery concussion blast. When you kind of reel back, you're knocked back by the concussion of it, not enough to actually damage you. But as the smoke and the wreckage clears, you can see there is no more console, there is no more Apostol, and there is no more Fang and Jian. And you hear something. The thudding of the sentry turret stops, and there's just this slow decreasing as all of them vent at once, and all the sentry turrets in a classic kind of like sci-fi way just kind of sink down and stop firing. The artillery noise diminishes but does not stop. and kind of nearer than the horizon now. You know, the dark, relatively dark skies of Gehenna, it's still swirling with ash and snow. And that darkness moving across the buildings, now partway across Bering and moving towards the wall, is slowly starting to appear as what it is, a mass of thrashing biomechanical limbs. The swarm you saw approaching at the end of the previous story is upon Bering. It's coming at these walls, and now there is nothing to hold them back. Pierre and Justin, I am aware we're pretty close to the end of this now. If you want to take another character, though, I am absolutely 100% fine with that. You can go and take a look at the cast list. I'm sure we can pretty quickly actually sum them up here, if you want, because a lot of characters, just 3 characters just died in one go, right? But we have available for you guys. Cam is still alive and is available. The Colonial Marine. Yeva, the medic, is alive because Fang just healed her. And Guang, the pilot, is alive. Kolya, the reporter, is alive. And Alyona, the scientist, is still alive. If you want to take any of those characters, I am more than happy for you to take them on, even if we're only here for another 20 minutes or half an hour or so. And then you can take, if we do a third, you can take them into that one.
So Zhang's dead, I imagine, yeah?
Yeah, the 3 of you are all dead. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Zhan and Fang and Apostol. Boom, gone.
Cool.
So I'm happy for you to take any of those on. I'm going to take you off screen and pop in the chat if you want to take someone, and I'll bring you back on as that character. Does that sound good? And I'll send you the character sheet as well.
I know who I would pick if Pierre knows who they'd pick.
Yeah, you can just pick it now if you want. Yeah.
Yeah. I would
Pierre,
go with...
first refusal, because you died first. Closest explosion.
Sure, yeah.
I was going to go as Collier.
That's good.
Collier the reporter? Yeah.
Delicious.
I liked Collier, but I'll go with the scientist whose name is Alyona. Yeah.
Sure. I don't have fully written backgrounds for any of them, but
That's fine.
if you just stick with the way I've been doing it, obviously Alyona's a bit more difficult, but you got the impression, I think, and I'll send you across their character sheets, and you can take them on. And Alyona is with the group already, I think. Right?
Yep.
She's following you as you go there, so...
Yep. Because that guy who just exploded is really important.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would have picked Apostle before we found out the things.
Sure, yeah. Cool. So feel free to change your names. You should have those character sheets now. There we go, folks. That's these Alien one-shots. That's what we do. So that is fun. We'll bring Collier into it at some point imminently. But Alyona is still standing, kind of having approached a little behind everyone else. What are we going to do?
Alyona?
Oh, that's a good point. Justin doesn't know what.
Yes, the critical thing.
I don't have to.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, I imagine we are trying to get either send a signal or go to a certain location. That's all I need
Can
to know,
I play
right?
Alyona for just 10 seconds?
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
you can go. Alyona just kind of looks across, completely unfazed by the explosion that has happened, and just says, "The most central tower. They'll be arriving soon. It's going to be a climb. We should go now." Yeah, that's all you need, Justin. You don't need to actually share who's coming or anything. So,
Cool.
I am happy for Collier to I take it everyone is just going to start running for the central tower. There is a relatively tall tower in the center of the safe zone.
Can I have maybe from some other vantage point seen a sort of scuffle, and been like, "Oh, I'll film that," and then seen an explosion and been like,
I
Or
don't
do
think
not
you'll have
want that.
seen the scuffle because it's too small, but you can definitely have been like filming, like what's going on out there over the walls, and then in the like middle distance, just boom in the middle of your recording, and you could hurry towards that to
Yeah,
try and get better
sure.
footage. How does that sound?
Yeah. Yep, that seems reasonable.
Perfect. As you're running towards this tower, you see Collier kind of running towards you, looking. Well, you tell us. How do you look?
I look extremely worried, but also like I have the footage of the sentry on this device, so I'm sort of like extremely nervous, but I really, really, really want to get this footage somewhere. So I'm like, ooh, can I join you guys?
But we're not going to stop you.
I have time to argue. If you're coming, you're coming.
Thank you.
If Aliona sees the camera, then she'll be like, yes, it probably would be best to have you along.
Mm.
All that
Is there
recorded
a
footage
click?
would be very happy. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So you are now kind of like dashing along. You can see that the dropship area, the fences have been torn down, and people are swarming over them, desperately trying to get aloft. A couple of the dropships are even rising up, but nothing. There's nowhere really to go. They could maybe go into near orbit, and a couple of them are trying. A couple of them have also crashed to the ground. It is just a general mass of people not really knowing what to do. You can hear ranks and ranks of automatic fire breaking out behind you as SOF squads like desperately run to the walls behind you. And as they do so, it maintains a kind of constant rate of fire, even as they're swarming, even as the SOF are kind of like dashing behind you. Boria, you register on some kind of unconscious level without thinking about it. That means that the numbers of soldiers firing at the wall aren't increasing, even though more soldiers are arriving. That's bad. And you can all hear a kind of twisted shriek of tortured metal as elements of the wall start collapsing under the weight of the swarm behind you. Ahead, over the tower, a sudden rent. A light appears in the sky over what remains of Bering, and several huge personnel carrier dropships start emerging from low orbit, cracking down into the sky with hypersonic, like vast booms that echo out over the city. Every single one of them is painted vividly in blue and white. Every one of you who have lived for any amount of time on Gehenna knows these are not Bering dropships. I would like each one of you to tell me how you are making your way through this mass of people and make an appropriate roll for it. So let's start with Steve.
Okay. I think, as much as I would like to leave an observation here, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. So
no, I think that's fine. Any roll you want.
Okay,
any roll you
fine.
want. I think an argument can be made of almost every role.
Yeah, find the gap.
Maybe not
right?
piloting or heavy machinery.
I mean, maybe.
Survival
Well,
seems weird
Find
as
a
well. But
bulldozer and
I think
just
observation, just like trying to dodge your way, look and dodge
Yeah.
your way through the crowd, find the
try
quickest
and find a
path. Yeah,
path.
go for it.
Cool. Did we take stress for seeing the explosion?
Oh,
by the way?
yeah, sorry. Yeah. Definitely take a stress for seeing two of your companions being, well, three technically, being just
Yeah.
blown to Kingdom Come. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
also, was there anything for seeing the swarm initially on the scanner?
Yeah, there was one for that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think I added that later, but
What stress would Alonia be on?
I
roughly
think we'll
two?
use the rule we did last time for fresh characters. Special treat: your character died. You get you start with no stress.
Rubbish.
We did that last time, so
Rubbish.
precedent.
Well.
Damn it!
Excellent. So I rolled 10 dice, 8 from observation, 2 stress. I rolled 3 successes, 2 of which were on the stress dice.
Excellent. All of you at this point are maybe even following Dima as he's weaving through this crowd. Kind of like you see, like a gap in the mass of people break as kind of as a load of them rush away from a collapsing section of wall. But you can see that though the wall's collapsed, it's taken the swarm over that area down with it, and there's now a free area to scamper around and try and get to this tower. Other people are also starting to see the Azul dropships and starting to make their way towards it, hoping that the dropships are there to help them and not to, just start gunning down the last remnants of Bering. Collier, how are you making your way forward through the crowd?
I think similarly, I'm trying to be just spot a hole, spot a gaps, see if there's a side alley, anything like that as a way to get through.
Absolutely. Then give me that observation roll, friend.
So that is 8 dice. So that's all of them. I rolled 2 successes.
Absolutely. And you said you were looking for shortcuts. You find them. You kind of dodge between two kind of like rough prefab hab block buildings. Like it's an area you've been poking your nose around the safe zone for a couple of days now. You manage to dodge your way around it. The others come behind you and you swing round, and it's now basically a straight dash towards this tower. The dropships are starting to sink down around it and turn around. There's an element of the wall nearby, and you can see dark shapes kind of like skittering just over the top of it, and you can see Azul Marines who are USMC kind of standing in the open doorways of these vast personnel dropships. Just you can't really hear them over just the massive noise, but you can see the tracer fire of the smart guns just carving lines across the top of the xenomorphs as they breach the crest of the ramparts. Let's have. That is Alyona. What are you rolling to make your way through the crowd?
I'm going to roll a mobility roll to try and just...
Yeah, that's self-explanatory, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just try and make your way through the mass, yeah.
And I pushed it because I got no success in the original roll, and I now have 2 successes.
Fantastic.
No panic.
Yeah, you managed to basically like almost kind of like move a path for the others through like the swarms of people, just kind of like weaving and dodging your way through different sections of people, even maybe pushing some people to the side to down them. Your information is more important than their lives after all, and you managed to carve a kind of little path through the area and kind of move even closer to where these dropships are descending to. Almost last. Huang, how about you?
I am going to try and look for gaps and take routes and
Sure.
sort of predict where people are going.
Sure, with that observation, right?
That's it. That's 1 and 2, 3.
Okay. Yeah, you managed to do this very well indeed. You can see where like lines of people or kind of rough lines of people are starting to form as like ramps drop from the sides of the personnel carriers, and people are just like themselves a swarm kind of moving up onto those ships in their cavernous interiors. You're close enough now that you can hear members of the Azul kind of soldiery screaming at the top of their lungs in Spanish and American for people to get inside, get into these dropships as quickly as they can. Boya, what are you going to roll? It can be anything.
I probably would use stamina because I think Boya is probably just going to be basically trying to shoulder barge his way at a sort of
absolutely,
or run through this crowd.
Yeah. When I say anything, by the way, and I'm not asking you to switch or anything, like just ranged combat is also fine. I don't know what your relative stats are.
I didn't feel like gunning down a load of random people.
No. There's other things you could be gunning down to get to the ships.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Though I don't think I'm going to make
It's
much
up to you,
of a
though.
dent.
I'm happy with stamina, whatever you
I
want.
feel like it would feel futile at this point.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm just going to sort of barge my way through, basically.
Absolutely.
It's not a good start. 5 out of my 6 die and nothing. Okay. And I roll my 2 stress in with no successes so far. 1 success. And no stress results.
That's absolutely fine.
Okay.
You just hammer your way through. There's a bunch of people just kind of like not really knowing where to go, and just kind of causing an obstruction as they panic or they drop or any number of things. And you kind of shoulder your way through the mass of them using your pulse rifle, like slamming some people to the ground with that. If they're just gonna stand there howling, then they're dead already. And you batter your way through. As you do so, you come to the floodlit ramps. You can see like the arrayed Azul soldiery standing there, still kind of yelling in the slightly unfamiliar Spanish and English at people to get on board. And then you hear one person scream at the top of their lungs, "There she is! There she is! Get her on now!" And several of them kind of move forward, push people aside, almost kind of like manhandle Olyona and pull her up. As they do so, one of them turns to you and says in Spanish, the scientist, Fang!
I point at the rest of the crew and go, "Those, he's lost, but those ones there, they're the best replacement."
All right. They heave you aboard the dropship. A few moments later, as a great crowd, they are allowed. Basically, they're taking on as many people as they can from Bering. You can hear like the rifle and smart gun fire becoming almost kind of like desperate now. There's like cries from the soldiers to realign their targeting. You can't see anything that's happening outside now. You're just bulked in, packed in with as many people as possible. There is a clunk and a roar, and the ramp starts tilting up, and as it does so, the dropship lifts. There's like a sickening lurch as it roars into the air. This ship is far more advanced than anything you're used to on this side of the planet, and you rocket into the sky. One last glimpse as like the ramp tilts up, but the dropship swings over to the side again, and in just the glimpse of the closing of that tilted ramp, you can see below you the last coughing, wheezing moments of Bering. A mass organism of humanity itself consumed in mere minutes by the encroaching swarm of xenomorphs. And that, my friends, is a Congress of Sorrows. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
happy times.
Genuinely amazed to be alive again.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's good.
So
It's fine. It's
Oh,
fine.
Justin.
It's fine. It's fine. You know, Pierre died too, so it's fine.
it's fine. It
I
wasn't
do
just
love it when a
targeted
problem
as you.
resolves itself.
Yeah. So there we go, folks. If you've got any comments or questions, and thank you for sticking with us. It's been a long stream. If you've got any comments or questions, please fling them in the chat, and John will pop them up for us to have a look at. In the meantime, the usual promo. Although abridged, because it's been long. We've got a bunch of links down below. There's links to our Twitch and our YouTube. You've watched this on one. Please check out the other one. Links to our social media, our Discord, and our Patreon. They're all good things, and you know what they do. Sign up for them if that interests you. We run 3 weekly streams on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. All of them start at 8 o'clock p.m. GMT. Upcoming for the next couple of weeks is a special little 2-part Call of Cthulhu thing on Mondays, which is a sci-fi horror thing, like aboard a space station. So, hey, kind of in keeping with Alien, right? Check that out this Monday and the following Monday. Wednesdays is Simbaroom, our flagship show, although it's not on this week coming. And Thursday is Cincinnati Chronicles, our high-concept anthology series of World of Darkness stuff, hopping between different systems. We run one-shots on the first weekend of every month. This is the one for December. January should possibly be a new GM who will be taking us through Warhammer Fantasy, but that has yet to be fully set in stone. There we go. I think that's everything. Good Lord, that is everything. There is a cat. We are glad for the cat.
Excellent.
Yeah. Has anyone... Oh, we've got some follows. Yes, we got some follows today. And various other things. And a couple of days ago, Garblag Games subscribed. Thank you very much. John also resubscribed today. Thank you, John. Definitely couldn't be this John. I'm sure not. We got some follows over the last while from Wolfie Boy 01, Jovi Turbo, and Commander Strain. Thank you so much. Yeah. Woo!
Thanks,
Ooh,
Matt.
Good.
You
Yeah.
good?
That's all right.
That was
Yeah.
great.
I like to imagine at the end, like Collier taking like the backup of his like data and like putting it among the many other backups, including like one that's like, oh yes, this is of the interviews about the crimes of Jian and like all of the hidden.
Yeah, in the safe zone. In the safe zone, he found plenty of people willing to go, that Jean, let me tell you about all his other murders.
It's so frustrating because I was so close. Like when we were asking things to do after the second act break, I was like, "Oh, there's not enough time." And I was like, I was this close to asking Alonia. So yeah, you're funded by. We have the same funders, right? We were like I was like, oh well, we'll do it another time.
Yeah. We'll be able to talk about this later.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's great.
Absolutely.
so close.
It's yeah. I did have one.
Is that a cat in a bag?
Excellent.
That's great.
Cat in a bag.
I haven't thrown away this Wagamama bag in like a month because she just loves it.
Catamama? No.
Yes.
Close.
An explanation for anyone who wasn't sure about the Santos reference.
Yeah. That was a bit of a throwback thing. Jean was imprisoned at the beginning of Place of Burning because he had fairly randomly murdered a guy called Diego Santos, who was indeed this Santos. And that was a fun little subplot, which immediately evaporated. Them's the RNG breaks.
I'd have loved it if Pierre had played Santos after.
Yeah, that would have been good. I was like, I said in the private chat, but like, I almost fudged it to just make it Cam, just because it was more interesting to have Santos survive. But I thought, no, I will stand by my random roll. I was really hoping that Corporal Santos would just off Jean right at the end.
Yeah,
like I had a vision of him, like everyone's running to the things, and like Santos has somehow has clocked this and just like dashing up the ramp, and Jean's just there like heaving people aside, and like Santos just turning around and like basically like they're going, is that everyone? And he's just like
Yeah, end of the road.
just goes, but no, was not to be.
I was like, if Gian survives this one as well, it is crazy because
I think like I felt bad for Justin to lose another character, but I did, but also I felt the moment was quite good. It had that like,
it's the same echo of the first episode.
Yeah, and it's like they felt kind of like it was quite cinematic in that it felt a bit random, but also logical. Like it felt like it was like, well, yeah, there's nothing else for it in that particular circumstance, and that's like just an event where people just die. Hey, you were kind of Vasquez and Gorman, huh?
Sure.
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 No such thing as bad stress, am I right? Pierre.
Yeah.
I mean, Pierre's a strong advocate for that in Blades in the Dark.
I think the best stress to be running at is 3. If you can run at 3 the whole game, that's good.
Yeah,
because you get the most out of it. That's my personal opinion. I'm always disappointed when I'm not on 3 stress.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got some new comments there, John. If you want to pop them up,
I've still got some.
Are you just working through earlier stuff?
Yeah. We've got this was from near the beginning of the stream.
The Sauerkraut Kid could see you. How many times will Pierre's character kill Justin's character? In a way, he got him killed. Yeah. In a way. Yeah, but as soon as you were like, okay, we're going to approach him closely, I was like, oh no.
Oh, dearie me.
This isn't good. Like, like if Fang had shot him from away and downed him, like obviously the console still blows, right? But Fang and Jean don't die. But in the end, I kind of liked it. I thought it was like
me too.
It was a nice moment.
It's my character death I'm least annoyed by.
Sure, and I think it's logical. It's like a logical setup, but you just had no way of really. But it's just like, okay, well that worked. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I like it for the moment of like Jean hearing the click and the beep, and I could just imagine Jean like Jean would have figured it out. Jean's twisted little brain was like, he's got a fucking grenade in him, which was incidentally why he was wounded in the first place.
I should have guessed sooner.
It wasn't a bullet wound. It was that someone had yanked him with it.
Also, if we listened to Gian from the start and got rid of the dead weight.
Yeah.
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
But also listening to Jan is...
Yeah, we'd never listen to Jan, would we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Jan's the survivalist character. All of our characters are going to be like,
Yeah.
My reservation
Also,
was you
I
going
couldn't-
how sickly he was, and I was like, well, shit, he's got a chest buster in him. Like, I was
Yeah, there
genuinely-
would have been that as well, right?
Yeah.
Also, I couldn't rightfully allow him to come to harm by leaving him.
Yeah.
I mean, if you couldn't physically carry him and no one else would, then
Yeah, because then you'd be
Yes, yeah.
endangering the rest of the people by attempting to do it, even though,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I think
That's true.
that
I-
follows.
I
But
I liked at the
Yaber
start
wanted
of
to do it,
this.
so
I at the start of this was like, oh, the disturbance outside must be aliens. And
Yeah.
I was like, come on, guys.
I really enjoyed that kind of like, Cole, you're
Oh.
just going them all the time and talking about them, and we were like, yeah, them, we know about them. Nope.
And record scratch. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also
absolutely.
like the fact that the explosive was like it was actually foreshadowed by the fact that you said, "Oh, I don't," he's not actually. It doesn't matter that he's not able to operate the console, and it's like, yeah, we could have figured out that the reason is because he's about to explode.
But he literally
like,
said, like,
I don't-
the machinery of destruction, right? Like,
Yeah, like
it's
only
just
one,
like a
only
grenade.
one machinery matters anymore. Like don't get me wrong. I'm not sat here going, "Oh, you should have got it." Like I think it was pretty obscure, but also like the guy's not going to go, "I've got a grenade in me." So yeah. I think that's fair. Vendelius, Matt is like the tour guide from hell, taking us to all those picturesque locations no sane person should ever visit. Thank you. I really like that. Of course I do.
some
It's
people only
flattering me.
visit them once. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping I'm building a nice picture of these places. Malice, thoroughly enjoyed this stream. So glad we got to see more Xeno fun. Thank you, Malice. Thank you for turning up. It's always good to see you. And yeah, a bunch of these people who are commenting, I suspect, we don't know exactly who voted for what, but a bunch of these people are the people who voted for this Alien sequel, I suspect. So I hope it paid off for you. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've enjoyed doing
It's a
it.
good system.
It's great.
It's just a
I
good
really liked
system.
it.
I will basically always vote for this.
Yeah, it's really, really.
I voted for it.
Yeah.
And something else, but yeah.
42, good to see you. Is survival the main goal of Alien RPG? Pretty much, I think. Yeah.
I think having fun is more important.
Yeah, and just resigning yourself. Like the very first session we played, halfway through it, someone just died like that.
And I don't think you should even expect to survive.
Johnny's
everything.
character, I think.
Mine, I think.
I think it was Johnny's character. Your character did also die, but because Johnny played the security chief, who just got offed in the airlock, like real instantly. Your character did also die as well in a very dramatic.
Very suddenly.
I don't want to go into that too much because I do wonder
Did my
if we should
character die? Who
actually
knows?
run that original story as a little side thing. And I know it's running it again, presumably with a different cast. But anyway, did your character die in that? Yeah, your character also died in that first one, right at the end. Right at the end.
Great, cool.
Because you went into overkill and like you wouldn't stop firing, so they just had to leave you as the aliens like swarmed over you.
Cool.
I think.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. But others also died, so it's
Let's
fine.
just recap all of Justin's deaths.
I think there's only been one or two one-shots of Matt's that I haven't died in, and many of them I've been the only character that's died.
Can
Maybe.
someone go and make like a supercut? Just
I think in 3 of my one shots, you've been the only person that's died. Yeah, the 2 end of the world ones. No, you didn't die
No.
in one.
Yeah,
of the end of the world
getting
ones.
turned into a fish person counts as dying.
But sure, yeah, let's count those 3. I think those are the only 3 where you're the only person who's died. Because there's been Call of Cthulhu ones where people as a whole have died, or like groups of them.
Sure.
And obviously this one doesn't count because Pierre also died. And
Yeah,
the
sure,
other
sure.
alien one, the original alien one, not Place of Burning, that doesn't count because 3 people died. So,
got another
but
question.
you are always one of them to die, yeah.
Alien's pretty deadly, but it's not as deadly as Cthulhu.
Oh, is that the Sauerkraut kid? Is Alien the deadliest RPG? I think it's deadlier than Cthulhu. I think if you're playing by the rules, I think it's harder to kill a character in Cthulhu.
Sure,
It's
but
just-
no character should expect to survive Cthulhu.
It's just that loads of keepers in Cthulhu just wipe out the characters at the end arbitrarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also
Um,
Alien has like a really cascading bad luck thing where like you get more stressed and then at a certain point it becomes really likely that you will panic and then it becomes really likely that your panic will cause you to like die in the face of danger.
Yeah.
And then, and like
Well,
it's like
we didn't have as much panic in this one, I think, because we had more time skips and stuff, I guess.
yeah.
I would also say Alien is a very deadly RPG. The deadliest RPG I've ever experienced is Paranoia.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
You're encouraged to do so because you have backup clones. So yeah.
Shadows of Estron is pretty harsh in terms of
Oh,
combat.
yeah, another one.
Yeah,
that he
because
does.
did you say you? Maybe we shouldn't spoiler it if people haven't watched it, but Justin definitely was in danger in that as well, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to use the game gives you a few gimmies where you can basically
Okay.
like, I don't want
Had
to
to use a
die,
bit of a-
please.
Bit
I
of
had
an
to use
extra
my
life
gimmies.
scenario. I definitely think we should flag up 42. Yeah, I think that's a real valid thing. I really think we should think about the responsibility of who it. No, yeah. I don't. I honestly have never once in any game, let alone Justin or anything else, ever intentionally killed like targeted characters.
I
It's
agree.
all been
I think-
random.
I think and Matt has talked about this. Every time he kills me off, it's always a random dice roll. But I think there's subconsciously, if your random dice rolls,
He
always
does the like
come out with the
math
same
without
roll.
realizing about which
Yeah,
way up
yeah.
he's
I am
throwing.
Perfectly willing to postulate that I have some kind of entropy power that manipulates, chance and luck and forces me into these situations. I'm perfectly willing to believe that is true, but it's certainly not conscience.
Oh no! Much like the resentment I have.
Was that conscious or conscience, Matt?
I think there is
Neither.
definitely like some. Most of them have been completely random. There is only one that me and Justin argue over who is more responsible, and that is the zombie apocalypse one.
That's so joke. That was ridiculous.
Which, look, you give mouth to mouth to a zombie, you're gonna get bit.
Oh god, that we need to talk about this in more depth another time.
We will talk about that,
but not here.
People can go back and watch that. It's still on ATCP Gaming, which is our
I
old
need
channel.
to
If
now.
you want to go back and in the midst of the past, it's
You'll
audio
see
only.
it happening in the first 5 minutes of the episodes.
Yes.
The first episode, so you won't have to wait long to see who's at fault.
No,
It's the
No,
fact
you won't.
that you did that, and that was the session we had to record it in like 2 halves. And at the very beginning, Justin was like, "Okay, I can't be here for the second half. Like I just scheduling doesn't allow it. So if you find some kind of reason for me
Did I
to
say that? I
leave the
can't remember
group
this.
halfway through,
I can't remember this.
RNG found a way, and it was beautiful. So
Oh, dear. I was so frustrated about that. I'm still salty about
we
it.
know.
Life finds a way.
But there we go. Yeah, thanks so much, folks. Thanks, obviously, hugely to my wonderful players who stuck around for hours on a Sunday to play this just to entertain you and to satisfy my power-hungry nature.
Not at all to have fun.
not at all to have fun. And thank you for watching. We really hope you've enjoyed it. And yeah, take care, stay safe. We'll see you for other streams. Goodbye.